Hello, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll be discussing surds. Surds is an irrational number expressed as a root of a number. For example, root 3 is a surd. The reason why it is a surd is because root 3 is equals to 1.732050, and it continues on and on like that. This is an irrational number. So irrational number are expressed as root of another number is called surds. Maybe I should tell you what irrational number is. Let me first of all tell you what rational number is. Rational numbers are numbers that can be expressed as simple fraction. For example, 1.5 can be expressed as 15 divided by 10. Okay? 3.2 can be expressed as 32 divided by 10. But if you look at this number continues. This is a rational number because it can be expressed as simple fraction. This this is a rational number. This and this are rational numbers because they can be expressed as simple fractions. However, this is an irrational number because it cannot be expressed as simple fractions. Okay, if you press your calculator, root of 3, the number continues on and on. So, when an irrational number like this is expressed as root of another number, then that expression is a surd. Root 20 and root 75 are surds, and when dealing with surds in mathematics, it's very important to simplify them because it makes your calculation easier. Let's go through these exercises. We are given these two surds for us to simplify. How do we simplify surds? Let's start with number one, root 20. How do we simplify root 20? When you want to simplify surds, what you do is you need to look at the product of the number. Look at any of the product of number that can be expressed as whole number. For example, we need to find the product of 20 that's will be a perfect square so that it will be out of this square root. So let's break 20 down into its products. This will be equals to 2 times 2 times 5. Okay? And 2 times 2 times 5 is actually 4 times 5, which is equals to 20. Now, this can be broken down into square root of 4 times square root of 5. And square root of 4 is 2. So this will become 2 times square root of 5, which is equals to 2 root 5. This root 20 has been simplified into 2 root 5. Okay, so this is our answer. This is how to simplify surds. Let's do the second example for us to understand better. Root 75. So, like 20, the way we simplify 20, what you first need to do is to look at the product of 75. So, and if you look at product of 75, that will be equals to 5 times 5, which is 25, times 5 square root. Okay, and 5 times 5 is equals to 25 square root of 25 times 5, and this will be 5 root 5. So we have simplified 75 into 5 root 5. That is how we simplify surds. Let us talk about addition and subtraction of surds. There are rules for addition and subtraction of surds. You can only add or subtract surds if the roots, let's say you have an expression root a of b, okay, and another expression root c of d, okay. For you to be able to subtract or add these two surds, a must be equals to c, okay, and b must be equals to d, meaning that if this is square root of b, these two must be a square root of b, because b and d must be equal. For example, if you have square root of 2 and square root of 3, in mathematics we don't put these two there, okay. If you have these two expressions, you cannot add them together, okay. If you have an expression square root of 2, or let's say cube root of 2 and square root of 2, this we cannot add them together, because this is square root of 2 and this is cube root of 2. They are not the same, okay. Now if you have square root of 2 and square root of 2, this you can add them together, okay. You can add these two together because their roots are the same and the number they are trying to find its root are the same. You can add this and also subtract, okay. You can add and subtract, but if either their roots or the number inside the roots, if either of them are not the same, then you cannot add them together. You can't perform addition and subtraction on them. Now let's let's solve the examples. Let's solve these exercises as example. We are to simplify these expressions, okay. Now let's start with number one. Number one, root of 99 minus root of 44 minus root of 11. How do we solve this? When you want to do mathematical operation with sorts, it's always advisable that you what? It's always advisable that you simplify the expressions first. So let's try to simplify the expressions such that we'll have sorts that we can add or subtract. Now, this will be equals to, if you want to simplify this, we can say this will be equals to 9 times 11 square root minus 4 times 11 square root minus square root of 11. And this will be equals to Root 9 is equals to what? 3. Root 11 minus root 4 is 2. Root 11 minus 11. So if we subtract this together, 3 root 11 minus 2 of root 11. Now you see that their roots are the same, both all of them are square roots, and the number that the root is sitting on are also the same, which is 11. So we can perform addition or subtraction on these expressions. Now, they say 3 of 11 minus 2 of 11. That will be 1 of 11 minus 1 of 11. That will be equals to what? 0. Okay? So, this is our final answer. Now, let's do the exercise number 2. We are asked to simplify this 3 root of 125 minus 5 root of 20 plus 3 root of 80. Let's simplify this. We know that 125 will become 25 times 5, which will be equal to 125 minus 5 root 20, which can be expressed as 4 times 5 plus 3 root 80, which can be expressed as 4 times 4 times 5, which is equals to 80. Okay? Now, if we are to simplify this, this will be equals to what? This will be equals to 3 times root of 25 is what? 5. Root 5, okay, minus 5. Root of 4 is what? Times 2 root 5 plus 3 root of 4 is what? Times 2, and this is another 4. This one 4, which is 2. This is another 4 times 2 root 5. Okay, if we are to simplify this, this will be 15 root 5 minus 5, sorry, minus 10 root 5 plus 3 times 2, 6 times 2, 12 root 5. And if we simplify this, 15 root 5 minus 10 root 5, that will be 5 root 5 plus 12 root 5, that will be 17 root 5. So this is our final answer. Let's talk about multiplication of surds. Now, while doing addition and subtraction of surds, I said you can only add and subtract if the roots and the number that the roots contain are the same. In multiplication, the only thing that needs to be the same is the roots of the expressions that you want to multiply. For example, if you have two expressions in which root a of b and another expression in which you have root c of d, for you to be able to multiply this, all that needs to happen is that a must be equals to c, meaning that if this is a square root, these two must be square root, And with that, you will be able to multiply the numbers that they contain. Meaning that if A is equals to C, you can actually say root A B times D. Okay? Or root C B times D, since A and C are the same. For example, if you have two expressions in which you have root 2 times root 7, these can be multiplied together. Okay? Now, if you have cube root of 6 times square root of 2, this cannot be multiplied together because this cube root and square root cannot be multiplied together. For you to be able to multiply them, these roots must be the same. But take note that the numbers may not be the same. For example, 2 and 7 are not the same, and you can still multiply them because the roots are the same. Both of them are square root. Now, having noted these rules, let's do some exercises as example. Okay? Now, for example number 1, example number 1, root 30 root 30 times root 5. This will be equals to root 30 times 5, and this will be equals to 150 times 5. But anytime you are dealing with Surds, it's very important for you to simplify it. Now, how do you simplify this? This can be 6 times 5, which is equals to 30, times 5, okay, square root. And with this, you can simplify this as, take note that when you have two numbers multiplying each other in a square root, okay, you can just take one of the numbers and forget about the other. The reason is that, for example, when you have this 5 times 5, it's actually 25, meaning that root of 25, which is equals to 5. So you can just take one of this, it will be 5 times root 6. Can we simplify to root 6 further? No, because that will be 2 times 3, and neither of 2 nor 3 is a perfect square. So this will be, the final answer will be 5 root 6. Okay? Now, let's look at the second example, number 2. They say 4 root 3 into brackets raised to power 2. This can be written as 4 root 3 times 4 root 3. Now, when you want to simplify this expression, you multiply whole number with whole number, okay? And you multiply the root, the surds, with the surds, okay? So if you say 4 times 4, that will be what? 16, okay? Now, root 3 times root 3 times root 3, okay? And when you have this root 3 times root 3, that will be equals to 16 times root 3 times 3, which is equals to 16 root 9, which is equals to 16 times 3, which is equals to 48. This is the final answer. Take note that when you have a number multiplying itself two times under a square root, you can just take one of those numbers and cancel the square root. For example, through 3 root square root of 3 times 3 will be equals to 3. I just carried this way for you to understand why is equals to 3. Let's look at question 3. They said we should evaluate root 2 raised to power 3. This can be broken down into root 2 times root 2 times root 2. And this is equals to root 2 times 2 times 2. Okay. Now, in the previous example, I state that when a number multiplies itself two times under a square root, you can just take one of those numbers and cancel the square root. Meaning that we can just take one of these two, cancel the other two, and cancel the square root on top of it, such that it will become 2. We took one of these twos, and it will remain this one, root 2. So this is our final answer. The same rule that you use here, that when a number multiplies itself two times under a square root, you can just take one of those number and cancel the square root. The same way, when a number multiplies itself three times under a cube root, you can just cancel two of those numbers and pick. You can just cancel two of those numbers and the cube root itself. Meaning that when you have cube root of 3 times 3 times 3, this will be equals to 3. Or you have cube root of 3 times 3 times 3 will be equals to 3. Or you have cube root of 2 times 2 times 2. It will just be equals to 2. So take note of that. If you enjoyed this video, kindly like, subscribe, and share, and comment, and write your comment in the comment section. If you have any question, you can write. If you have any suggestion on a video that I can make, you can write in the comment section. And if you want me to explain further, you can still write in the comment section. Kindly like, subscribe, and share. Till I see you in my next video. Take care and bye bye.